Hi, I'm Mark Hammond, President of Legend Financial Services. I've been very concerned lately about the state of our country, and I've been doing a lot of research into the economy to try to see what the future holds for us here in America. I feel a sense of urgency to pass on what I've found out. I think of my parents and how hard they've worked to pay off their house and to get into a position that they can retire. You may also have parents in the same situation. Their home equity is their peace of mind, their security blanket. It also gives them peace to know they can pass on something to their children. But what if that equity wasn't safe? What if by the time they pass away, that equity is significantly less than it is now? And I thought that if that is true, there's got to be a way to protect that money before it's too late. Let me give you the big picture on this. A bubble burst in the real estate economy that was a long time coming. Our economy in the United States has become largely based on inflating real estate prices and little else. America got to where it was by selling things to the world. Now the world sells everything to us. It's not hard to foresee where this country is headed. NAFTA and other trade policies made it more profitable for corporations to move their manufacturing jobs out of America. We're just starting to feel the effects of America's decline as an economic power. But what made this appear insignificant to most Americans was that real estate appreciation was fueling the economy. But this appreciation was mostly caused by manipulation by Wall Street through relaxed lending practices. Make it easy to buy and you'll artificially stimulate demand and cause prices to rise. Our economy shifted away from making products for the world to buy to construction materials, and other services focused around the housing industry. And there were many jobs available in that industry because houses kept appreciating. This appreciation created more spending and more jobs. But people borrowed more money on credit cards only then to pay it off with a home equity loan. And that's what America did. They lived beyond their means and for the most part borrowed the rest. It was irresponsible financial strategy that can be blamed both on Wall Street and on Main Street. But eventually the weakness of the rest of the economy took its toll, and people who were overburdened with debt began to default on their loans. And that's what happened to us. I mean, that house of cards just started to fall down. Huge amounts of people in America rely and still rely on the housing industry for their livelihood. And so much of what you're hearing out there about the market is trying to reassure you that it's just a cycle and everything will come back. Everything will be okay and things will turn around again. From Wall Street to Main Street, everyone is desperately hoping that this is true. But I'm here to tell you that it is a lie. The real estate market will not rebound for a very long time, if ever, unless we start making things for the world to buy again. And in the Utah housing market, where our offices are located, we're always following well behind the bigger markets that have already seen drastic drops in value. So we ain't seen nothing yet. You can expect your home equity to drop steadily for many years, and I'll give you 3 powerful reasons why. Number 1, financing has become severely restricted, and it will get stricter. You take away financing and you lose demand and prices fall, period. Lending guidelines got completely irresponsible over the last 15 years, and I think they're still too lenient compared with the rest of the world, and will get even stricter. In other countries, getting a mortgage is far more difficult than it is in America, and much higher down payments are required, and you really can't find fixed rates. Even at the severely restricted levels of risk that lenders are taking now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are still very close to folding. You should face the reality that the U.S. government is no different from the person that is losing their home to foreclosure. The U.S. is strapped with debt and is in the process of losing its power grip on the world. The ease of financing in this country is largely due to federally insured mortgage programs, which insure the lenders from loss so they can offer low down payment loans. But as the U.S. weakens, these guarantees will mean less to investors, and our lending programs will start to resemble the rest of the world. Tougher financing equals lower values. Number 2, incomes are dropping in America, which causes demand for our high-priced real estate to drop. So the equity in your home and in your parents' home is dwindling away. Like the majority of its citizens, America is drowning in debt. We've allowed corporations to push us around with our tax and trade policies, and we've lost the foothold that we once had in the global economy. Corporations and the super wealthy are in charge, and they have no allegiance to America or our workers. Profit is their only concern, and we demand too high a wage and too high a lifestyle, and that cuts into their profits. So they've cast us aside, and our way of life is in serious jeopardy. Without rising real estate values, there's not much to our economy. A large number of us depend on the building industry for jobs. When real estate continues to drop in value, you'll see the building industry shrink even more than it already has. How many people do you know that are still working in building or some industry that supports building? It's the biggest industry we have in America. And why is real estate so much cheaper in other countries? Because people make less money, which is what is happening here. All the more reason to expect your home equity to shrink. And number 3, here's the scariest reason of all. Recent studies show that up to 15% of homes in America are vacant. 15%! And a large number of them are owned by banks taken back in foreclosures. And what's even more scary is that 60 to 70% of those bank-owned properties aren't even for sale. What does that mean? Why aren't banks trying to sell them? Well, because banks are trying to protect the value of their collateral. And if they dropped all those houses onto the market, the real estate market would tank. It's supply and demand. Too much supply will cause prices to fall. So our real estate market right now is a facade. It's not real. It's fake. The prices aren't real. The banks are doing a high wire act to keep it from completely falling apart. So we have huge problems on both sides of the supply and demand equation. We've got restricted financing and lower wages bringing down demand, and we've got a glut of homes, not even on the market yet, increasing supply. That's a very destructive combination to bring down home values. And I don't see any short-term solutions to these huge issues, do you? People always say that real estate will go up because population is rising, but that doesn't matter if there are no jobs and no access to financing. Africa's got some pretty big populations too, and how's their real estate market? So let me ask you a question. Is your parents' house paid off? Are you expecting to inherit that home at some point in the future? I'm sure that you'd like that inheritance to be as large as possible, and I'm sure your parents want the same thing. Banks and the mainstream media news, they don't want you to see the writing on the wall. The truth is, your parents' ability to support themselves in the future and the legacy they leave you behind can be drastically better or worse depending on how you plan now. At Legend Financial Services, we see the writing on the wall, and we've organized a group of key strategies to help make it possible for your parents to not outlive their money. And instead of gradually losing your legacy, we can help you inherit up to 2 to 3 times what you would have inherited by sitting still. Understanding what's to come is just the first step. The next step is doing something about it. It's up to you to talk to your parents to help them understand what's at stake if they do nothing. Give yourself the knowledge that can save you from financial ruin. Don't go down with the ship here in America. Get our free information that will explain to you how to avoid losing your nest egg in this declining real estate market. These are tried and true financial strategies that your parents will understand. We'll email you the general information about these strategies, and if you like later, we can set up a free consultation to tailor-make a solution that's perfect for your family's needs. Order your information now. Unfortunately, we all have a lot to lose.